Sherman released by the Seahawks. This ends the era of Legion Boom. If you remember, Michael Bennett got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 5th-round pick. I think they really looked at this season as an assessment of their defense. Look, see, guys getting older. I don't blame them. It's a business. Richard Sherman did rupture his Achilles. I think they were trying to break up the defense anyway, so I think this gave him a good excuse to. They're listening to trade offers from Earl Thomas. Cam Chancellor's coming off surgery as well. The defense isn't what it was. It's good. It's still dominant, but it wasn't as good as it was before because obviously they actually lost a lot of guys. Is what happened. Malcolm Smith. They lost the overall defense quality went down after some of the players left. Bruce Irvin obviously gone. Some of these guys, some of the other guys who were valuable on the defense that made the defense a whole kind of left. So there were some gaping holes in the defense here and there. Richard Sherman, I think, was a really solid top cornerback. I still think he is the number one cornerback in the NFL. If he's healthy, I think he's number one. This was a little perplexing to me. I mean, I get why they did it, but I think it was perplexing the timing they did it, I think you give it, his Achilles just got ruptured. You give him another year, give him another 2 years, see if he can recover. But because I feel like Richard Sherman is the best corner on that team. There's no one else better. And now that he's hit the open market, I don't think he's going to be on the open market for too long. He's too talented to be on the open market for way too long. I think the Patriots are going to come at him. I think the Eagles are going to come at him. All these teams are going to try to come and scoop him up. And why not? He was the top corner a couple years ago. And I personally, in my opinion, I still think Richard Sherman is one of the top corners, if not the top corner. Or let me rephrase that. Richard Sherman is the top corner when he's 100% healthy. Okay, there's no disputing that. He locks down people. If you saw his highlight in the NFC Championship game where he tapped the ball up and it was a pick against Michael Crabtree, that was great. He's a good personality, smart guy, so he knows how the business works. He's not gonna be whiny and bitchy. And he had problems with the offensive coordinator, with the team, attitude issues. He'd get kind of mad. He'd get kind of mad from time to time. He'd try to show emotion. I think he showed too much emotion. I think this might have also been an attitude problem. Here's the thing. When you have guys like Richard Sherman, these are outspoken guys who know what they're doing. So it's good. It's good to see them have some sort of personality, play well with each other. But I think at a certain point in time, all the personalities started to clash, and they'll start getting too many fights. So they said, all right, time to break up the team. So they're like, all right, Richard Sherman, you're the next one to go. Because Michael Bennett, I heard he wasn't really meshing with the team. And now I'm hearing that Richard Sherman, he ruptured his Achilles, and he's getting kind of old. So they're like, all right, let's throw him out while we still can. I think they should have traded him. They might have gotten a pick or something. I think releasing him was the wrong idea for them. I think obviously for them, I think they're going into rebuild mode. So on the defensive end, they're going into a rebuild mode. So they're trying to get rid of all these old guys, and they're trying to get in new guys. So it's good for them. So they're trying to get in with the new. Got a bunch of draft picks. They didn't draft all these guys. Sherman, Chancellor, Thomas. So they might go to the draft and be like, hey, we had success in the draft. We got a guy from USC who should be able to look at college prospects pretty well. So why not take our chances with the draft rather than playing all these old guys and depending on these old guys to, show up again and come out and play well. And it makes sense because why not? Why not? You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, whew. Okay, so that's why that's happening. You know what I mean? I really like Richard Sherman, but I sort of understand where this is coming from because I felt like this was going to happen all year. There were a lot of grumblings within the Seahawks. The team was kind of going to break up. I thought it was going to be Earl Thomas who's going to get shipped out because he went to Jason Garrett and said, come get me, because he thought the Seahawks were going to let him go. And I think the Seahawks are going to let him go. But I just think there's too much grumbling in there. I think sometimes when there are a lot of strong personalities in one room, sometimes, the egos clash, sometimes some stuff happens. I still think as a unit, they were one of the most dominant units ever. Legion of Boom. I mean, they're going to be missed. It's the end of an era for the Seahawks on defense, at least. On offense, you got Russell Wilson. You still got Jimmy Graham. Got a bunch of pieces up there. You're playing well on offense. Defensively is really the only place where they kind of a little bit fallen off. Also, you don't have a good running back on offense, so that's going to obviously affect you. After Marshawn Lynch retired, and Marshawn Lynch didn't have much production even before that, so it is what it is. Good job. I really love the Seahawks. They're playing well. They're playing great. I really like the Seahawks. They played well. They played great. They were competitive. They didn't make the playoffs. They were just out. because they had a bunch of crucial losses. Blair Walsh, I think they need to cut Blair Walsh because he cost them 2 games last year. One against the Redskins, one against the Falcons, where he hooked a bunch of field goals. Could have potentially swayed them. So, honestly, they're a couple of Blair Walsh's field goals away from a playoff berth. So, I don't think there's too much to worry about in Seattle. Still think they're a tough team. Their home environment has obviously been a little bit more bad over the years. People have gone home and stomped on them. Like Dan Quinn stomped on them. And they also got stomped on by a bunch of other teams at home. They did beat the Eagles, so I'll give them that. But, that's what I'm saying. Like, when their defense comes out and their players, it's the best unit. Like, they beat Carson Wentz, and that was probably that was Carson Wentz's last loss before he went out for the rest of the year. So, go figure, Like, it's a long season, so you got to get young guys. You got to get guys that are, willing to learn. And I feel like these guys were, sort of getting too cocky. And like I said, defensive coordinators kept shifting, so they had to learn all these new schemes. Dan Quinn was a defensive coordinator, then he left. All these coaches leaving, all these guys leaving because they're getting better jobs and better places. So they're like, all right, we got to go now. So... yeah, I think what happened was it was a changing of coaches, changing of personalities, and I just don't think it meshed. I feel like it meshed really well when it worked, but there are these times where you kind of knew okay, this team's gonna probably break up because they got all these strong personalities, all these people that are really, really outspoken, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a really good thing. I think it's good to be honest and open. But sometimes when you're in a football organization and you got players around you and guys around you who you want to be respected, and you have strong personality, and you sort of lash out all the time, or sometimes, even sometimes. Some guys are kind of extra sensitive. They might take that the wrong way. And I think what happened here was Richard Sherman had too many disputes with the team. I heard he had gotten a lot of fights with the offensive coordinator for passing the ball at the 1-yard line because of what happened at the Super Bowl. So I kind of saw this coming. I just didn't think it would be a release. I thought it would be a trade. I wish that they could have got some value from Richard Sherman. I feel like they missed out on getting really good value for Richard Sherman because Richard Sherman is a really, really solid number 1 corner if he's 100% healthy. I don't know. Like I said, he could come back from this Achilles and be bad, and it could be a win. The Seahawks could shed some salary space, and they could also develop a young corner. But this could also be a loss because if he comes back from the injury and he still proves that he's the number 1 corner, which I think he will be extremely determined. I really like this guy. I really like Richard Sherman. Stanford guy, smart guy, like I said. So he knows how the business works. So, yeah, Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll, end of an era. Legion of Boom has come to an end. After all of those grumblings over all of those years of all of that stuff coming out, the Legion of Boom has officially ended. 2 Super Bowl trips, 1 Super Bowl win, 1 alone, obviously. Everyone knows about that, past the 1-yard line. Ridiculous. But, yeah, it was good while it lasted. It was a lot of fun, but, hey, congrats, Richard Sherman. I hope you go to a good team. Go to a team with a player, the system that works for you. So, Richard Sherman, number 1 corner if he's healthy. He's out there. I don't think he's going to be out there for long. I won't be surprised if he gets picked up even before this video gets uploaded. So, good job, Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman getting released. Seahawks trying to develop young guys now, so we'll see how it works for them.